fire. Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G, Mr. G, I love you. Mr. G, I love you. Hey guys, I don't know if you have met Mr. G. This is Mr. G. He's my birdie. Mr. G, you're my birdie. Say hello, Mr. D. Hello. Hello, Mr. D. Hello, Mr. D. Hello, Mr. D. He's my birdie. He needs a sweater. He needs a sweater. You need a sweater, Mr. D. You need a sweater, Mr. D. You need a sweater, mister.
Yeah, you need a sweater. You want a sweater?
Mr. D needs a sweater. It's cold. Actually, he can actually take more cold than I can. A lot of the time. Right, Mr. D? I got you a heater and everything. I got you a heater. And Miss Brenda got you a birdie backpack. And Miss Brenda also got you an infrared lamp. Or like a red light. She got you a red light. So you can stay healthy and grow your feathers. Mr. G's got the same neurotic little habit I've got, which is picking at stuff that, is just trying to grow and heal. But, yeah, we all got our vices, don't we? I've had more than a few in my day. Oh, you are so cute. Oh. You got my septum. It's okay, it didn't hurt. You barely got it. He's like, nope, I'm gonna run away. I'm gonna run away. So I have been addicted, like kind of infatuated with those AI videos, like the countries as mafia bosses, countries as monsters, countries as queens and princesses, and dude, they are so cool. But they've also got that song that'll like stick in your head, right? There's like, well, they've got the one, it sounds like, I don't even know who that's by. I looked it up, but I can't remember. But then the other song by Simon and Garfunkel, but the version that they use in the remix is it Disturbed? Is that the name of the artist? I can't remember. I'm not very good with music. But yeah, I'm addicted to those. And I'll tell you what, those songs that were written by like the Simon and Garfunkel and, people who obviously like, yeah, catchy tunes, beautiful melodies, catchy. But at the same time, like, oh, Mr. G flies away. That's okay. But at the same time, like, I never really appreciated it, like, when I was growing up. But dude, those lyrics are super deep. These are super deep lyrics. And I started listening to them again in those AI videos. I was thinking about my soul contracts and why it takes me 4 decades to learn certain lessons. And you realize looking back, you're like, oh, awakening is, and there's different levels of awakening, of course, but awakening can take time. It doesn't come all at once, of course. We're always learning. We're always awakening. And I'd have to say that my toxic trait is toxic positivity, or has been. But that's not really true. Well, yeah, I guess it kind of is. But I've been just as negative as positive at some point. I didn't know how to have a conversation without being negative until I was in my 20s. I never understood the beauty of small talk. I mean, it's not always my favorite, but you realize that when you ask people about the weather and stuff, it's not so much that you're necessarily asking them about the weather. You're trying to catch a vibe, man. You're trying to figure out, do I like this person's, just, you're sizing them up. The human equivalent to what poochies do. But I know some people would love to sniff you up and down the first time too. Not me, unless you smell good. And even then, it's not that. I'm not looking for anything too deep in that first conversation. So I decided to go a little girly today. But anyway, so I was singing the lyrics in that Simon and Garfunkel song, and it was talking about 10,000 people, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening. So when I'm reviewing the lyrics, I guess the sound of silence. I guess I kind of see things in both ways. It's like silence, it's fucking awesome. Silence is awesome. But I'm not sure if that's what they really meant. But when I was first listening to the song, I was like, yeah, like telepathy. People talking without speaking. Duh. People hearing without listening. I thought that just meant like you're catching the vibe. Like with the third eye, like you don't really hear it, you just kind of know it. But that's me. That's the rose-colored glasses I've lived my life with. And for the most part, it's worked. I mean, there's been some pretty major blind spots, I guess you could say, that I've had to catch up with. But that's okay. The world worked right. Like, not to me. Look at that hair. My goodness. But yeah, sometimes I have a tendency to think it's me, that I'm the one. It's kind of like when you get into a fight and the person's throwing all these attacks at you, and you're like, yeah, well, I do that, and yeah, I do that, and you just want to take accountability for everything you do, but that's a good thing. But I wouldn't take a look at things and see, well, the other person that's throwing the stones, they got the plank in their eye. And it's not like I didn't see the plank. I just didn't make them walk the plank. Off the porch! Get the pirates off the porch! But I remember feeling like a fool, embarrassing other people. But why are you hanging out with me if I embarrass you? Why do you want to be with me if I embarrass you? Sometimes I'm stupid. Sometimes people just think I'm stupid. But anywho, when you go through your spiritual awakening, at least for me, you'll start to go through a bunch of ego deaths. And I wouldn't say any of them are comfortable necessarily, but some are more uncomfortable than others. And then it just gets to a point where it's just downright confusing. And for me right now, the most uncomfortable is knowing that I'm not supposed to really have anybody in my circle that isn't necessarily in my resonance, even if I love them, even if I care for them. And I've always kind of thought that it was, at least inwardly, I feel pretty masculine, more of a masculine energy. But in the way that I nurture, I'm definitely way feminine. I've realized most people don't deserve that level. I heard my friend said the other day that polls and research they've done shows that the happiest, most satisfied people are usually married men and single women. That says something, right? Like, I can love you, just live next door so I don't have to cook your dinner or put up with your BS, and so I can have the whole bed and the remote control. I'll never forget walking out of GameStop, and we got a new system, and I was just being a dork, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I was like, oh my god, can't wait to go play. All of a sudden I got this weird vibe from my family, like, don't embarrass us. Sorry. It's been over a decade thinking it was me. I don't think people mean to hate you, they just do. I don't think people mean to resent you, they just do. And if there's one thing, I don't have a ton of pet peeves, but I try to soften my grip on those. It's just for my own sake, I guess. But sometimes I just don't think there's anything more frustrating than insecure arrogance. But anybody that wants to level up, just know. If you get to a point where Mario runs, jumps, hits the flag, comes back down, there's a point where the game, you do level up. And when you do level up, you're going to have a tower moment where everything will spin out of your cycle that's not going to resonate with you. And unfortunately, sometimes that means losing the people that you prefer to have come with you. Okay. I can only do this a little bit at a time. Silence like a cast of birds.